Well, I think we're recording a podcast and we don't have a table, so there's nothing for us to put our hands on. But
you can put your hands on my legs.
Okay, yeah, sure.
There you go.
Okay, cool. Yeah, exactly like that. I appreciate you doing this, man.
Oh, hey.
Super cool, you. Yeah.
Oh, we're on?
Yeah. We're going.
Okay.
We're recording a podcast in my van in San Diego. Do you want to talk about where we are?
Yeah, we're in a van in Mira Mesa.
Yeah.
In the dark.
In the dark. It is. Let's see what time it is.
It's kind of foggy outside.
Kind of foggy. 7:46 p.m.
We just had dinner at the Thai place.
Fuck yeah, it was good. Yeah, it was good. It was good Thai food.
I spilled something on my shirt. I couldn't figure it out though.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I'm in the shot for this part. I guess I'll find out in post.
I like the toilet paper.
Oh yeah. I have a toilet somewhere in here.
Is that you use the pot?
No, I haven't pooped in the pot.
pan? You haven't? Okay.
No, I have a cassette toilet.
Yeah.
I can show it to you if you want.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, cool. I can move around in here now that I have this.
He has a toilet somewhere in here. Is that it?
This is the toilet. Okay. You ready?
Yeah, I don't think this is like sanitary, but okay.
Right.
How does that work?
So you put a bag in here,
Yeah.
and you poop. It like holds the bag in place, and you poop in the bag.
Wow.
Yeah. It's only in case of emergency.
That's cool. Hey, I've had a lot of emergencies.
Yeah. Poop in the middle of the night.
Pooped on the beach. I pooped in the woods.
Nice. It's not pleasant, but
No,
it's better to have a thing that you can sit on rather than just,
Oh yeah.
pooping into a random plastic bag.
That's the mic, right?
Yeah. Normally there'd be a table here that the mic would sit on,
Okay.
but.
Yeah, this
Oh
is nice.
shit!
That is good.
I'm not sure. If
Am I still on camera?
Yeah, you totally
Okay.
are. Here, make sure. Well, would you like to introduce yourself to my followers?
Yeah, my name's Brad. I go by Bradwynn.
Yeah.
Sort of. No, I go by Brad, but
Yeah.
online I'm Bradwynn
Yeah.
Jones.
Yeah.
So I do demos pretty much on YouTube.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
The reason why I go by Bradwynn is because when I was first looking into getting on YouTube, I was searching my name,
Yeah.
Brad Jones,
Right.
and there was like this feminist group in New York City, I think it was, that they got together and they made a artist.
Yeah.
His name was Brad Jones. It's like a fake artist.
Yeah.
Because it's somebody who they thought would be the next great artist.
Yeah.
And they wanted a white Anglo-Saxon male.
Yeah.
So they used Brad Jones. So
Fuck.
it got taken.
Dang it. Shit.
So I went with my middle name and my first name put together.
Wait, is your middle name Wynn or something?
Yeah.
Okay,
So my
cool.
dad named me Bradwynn, but my mom hated it, so she chopped it up.
Yeah.
So now I just put it back together.
I like Bradwynn more, honestly.
Yeah.
It sounds more like artistic or something.
Bradwynn.
Bradwynn Jones.
Sounds pretentious, which is perfect.
Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't know. Well, I guess the reason I want to talk to you specifically is like the way I've been starting all these things is like the point of this is not to talk about like how to draw better
Yeah.
at all, or even like it's not to talk about the specifics of draftsmanship even in the least bit. It's more about like the why of doing things in the first place, you know. And to me, it's like you've been somebody that's like, you have been developing this audience on the side while working at, for different companies as like a pharmacist and, going to school in your free time. And it's just been a hobby for you essentially, and I think it's like, it's a really common thing where a lot of people feel like they are in these mundane jobs and they don't feel like they can be creative after work. They feel like they, have too much, they don't have a way to reasonably express themselves or a reasonable way to like build an audience or something. And to me it seems like you were pretty successfully able to do that.
Yeah, it happened by accident, really.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason why I started was because I was with somebody who didn't really care to hear about the art at all. So I put some videos on YouTube just to get some feedback from
yeah,
somebody.
Yeah. Right. Well, and people resonated with it, and like, people watch your videos and stuff.
Yeah, the first ones are really awful.
Yeah. Well, but I think that's like the part of doing anything creative is that it starts out as just like you wanting to share an idea. It starts out as not very good, and then it builds into this thing that's like ends up, you have like 100,000 people that follow you.
Thanks to you, because you got me back into it.
Well, I take very little credit for that. I was like, you're the person that actually went out and did the work, And,
yeah, but you called me. It was like I think I was at like 57,000 or something like that. I don't know. I was actually when you called, I think I went into the hallway to talk to you at work.
Yeah.
Like I left my workstation.
Right.
Like we had like a long conversation.
Yeah. Well, I'm very flattered to hear you say that, because I think it's I don't know. I think that I have conversations like that sometimes, and I think that most people actually really want to be creative.
Mm-hmm.
And like I think that a lot of people end up not being creative because they compromise like something. It's like comfort for money, or comfort, or like to be creative means that you have to sacrifice something, and generally it's like security and comfort. And I guess it's like when people get like even like a small push forward, like a small amount of genuine encouragement, it makes them like believe in themselves in a way that like, because I actually believe in your artwork. I think you're a really good artist, and you could say you don't believe that yourself, and I'd say you're a fucking idiot. I like your art,
I appreciate it. Thank you.
And it's like I don't think enough people believe that the work that they do is actually good. And I don't know. To me, it seems like there's a tendency to move towards, I guess, feeling negative towards yourself.
Oh yeah. It never goes away either. I don't think it does.
I think it does actually.
You think it does?
I think it can go away. But it's something that you can't be seeking. It's just something that like. It happens as a result of you just pursuing the path properly.
But for me, I feel like it hasn't gone away, but I still do it and just kind of not ignore it, but just like that there's that thing again. I'm still gonna move forward with whatever I was gonna do.
Yeah.
Just I don't know.
Yeah, it doesn't matter either way.
Yeah. And I'm always surprised when people comment nice things. It's like, if you heard the voices in my head.
Well, no, but it's like there's that thing in psychology. It's like, you wouldn't. It's very loud outside.
No, like,
you wouldn't treat another person as badly as you treat yourself.
No, not at all.
And it's like it's so fucking weird that we do that to ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, I'm pretty horrible to myself sometimes, but I would never say the things that I say to myself to another person. I'd be. Sent to jail or something for harassment.
Yeah, you really got to watch that, because it can take over.
Yeah, and I guess it's like being able to even, I really believe that, we were talking about this earlier, but I think human suffering is pretty universal, like no matter who you are. And it's like that propensity to, I guess, feel bad is like, to move forward in spite of that, again, I think is really inspiring. It's like you don't have to be, the best artist. You don't have to be the most like well-spoken. You don't have to be the prettiest or richest or whatever in order to say something of value. You can just like decide you want to say something, and whether or not it's something of value to somebody else is like, it almost doesn't matter. But just by the act of you going and putting yourself out there, it ends up being something that does resonate with people.
That's a good thing, because it could have easily not.
yeah, seriously. Well,
it's like I have no idea. I don't know what the formula is. I just,
Well, I think that's part of the way you learn the formula, is that you realize that there is no formula. You just like try shit out. Like you experiment, and then people watch your thing or they don't.
Like I make a lot of mistakes. Like I'll mess up an eye and have to redo it. And like those live stream ones, those are brutal. That's a white knuckle drawing. Like try not to chowder the whole drawing, and it's pretty intense, but it's really fun because the stakes are so high.
Yeah. Well, I think it's like that's the beautiful part about YouTube is, it's more, or it can be more free and authentic than something like just Instagram. 'Cause on Instagram, you're looking at like exactly what the person is posting, you know. And I mean, they could post their own bad artwork just as like, hey, I do bad art too, but like, you only see the image. You don't see any other aspect of the personality other than just the image.
Oh yeah, you mean like you don't see the performance art and making it kind of thing?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You only see like, like you might look at an image for 10 seconds, but it took that person like a week to do.
Yeah, you know? Right. Yeah.
It's like, you
and it's so sad because we just thumb right past it, and it's probably like 2 months of work they just did, and you're just like,
that's kind of neat. That's cool.
At the most, you want to save it.
Well, and I think it's like when it comes to the YouTube stuff and the chance of failure, I actually think that increases the value of the artwork. You know, like there's a chance that you do flub a drawing, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And it's like, one, it doesn't matter, and two, it's like that makes the, like the chance of failure actually makes it, like, good, you know? Yeah. Like, if everyone could just do amazing drawings all the time, then what would be the value of drawing?
Yeah.
It would just, like, there's no contrast there.
It's a total struggle. It's
yeah.
Like, yeah, the whole, like, feeling vulnerable when you do it, too. That's, like, the hardest. And just being okay with it.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's the suffering is actually where the value comes from.
Yeah.
You know?
Like, suffering.
Well, but it is suffering to do art. Like, well, I mean, instead of drawing, you could be eating cupcakes. You know? Yeah. It's like eating cupcakes is always going to be like have a higher dopamine release. That's easier than drawing a picture, because when you're drawing a picture, you could be like, you know, there's a chance you do an edge wrong. You know.
Oh yeah.
It's like. And even if you do a good drawing, you're like, I have 50,000 more of these to do, or something.
Yeah, and if you're trying to like reach another level of skill, and you have to like let go of something you already know how to do. Yeah, that's the worst.
And it's like you could just eat a cupcake instead.
Yeah,
you know, or eat ice cream, or do anything that's like
a bag of chips. That's that's my thing.
Well, and it's like just a bag of Doritos, or do a drawing. You know, it's like, there is a sacrifice to drawing, and there is like obviously there's a reason people do it, you know. It's like logically you would think that people just eat Doritos all the time instead of taking risks on making music or drawing pictures or doing anything, you know. But for some reason people see value in doing this thing that's actually very difficult, you know. It takes years to actually feel like you're comfortable doing it, you know.
So what brought you to, like, do you think you were born that way, or is it you just kind of like
the desire to be creative? Or?
Yeah. Like,
I think it's something that's like cultivated, like it's something you can cultivate for yourself. Yeah. And I was talking to Stan about this a couple days ago, and we were having an argument where he believes that creative gene is a gene. It's not. It's like something you're born with, and I totally disagree. I think
you do?
I think it's something you like cultivate over a period of time. It's like you can't try and start a multi-million-dollar company without first like trying to start a lemonade stand, you know. Yeah, it's like the path to doing a really like a masterwork piece of art starts with doing like doodles in your sketchbook.
Oh, of course.
And I think that as it relates to creativity and getting to a point to where you're doing great works of art and being, actually being creative and doing things that are scary and doing things that are like difficult, it starts with little baby steps, like you can't start recording a YouTube video unless you are like comfortable just talking in general,
or you can do it anyway.
Well, but
that's what I did.
Well, but it's like you're comfortable enough with English to be able to like communicate an idea well enough, and
it's like the slow build you were talking about earlier.
Oh, for sure. It's like that's how anything gets built. That's how any big thing gets built. It's not like Disneyland starts out as Disneyland. It starts out with like ideas on a whiteboard.
That's true. It's hard to see that though, because you see the end product already, and you're just like, oh man, how am I ever going to create something like that?
Well, and you also see like, your thing and all the baggage that goes along in your brain with like doing a big, like maybe when you're doing like trying to build your own version of Disneyland, you're thinking about all the other failures in your life before that or something. It's like all this baggage that follows you around.
It always does.
And all that self-doubt, it's like it is true that something like I don't know, any famous company, you know, Apple or Tesla or, you know, SpaceX or Disney or whatever. Like you could say anything about the ethics of it, but any of those ideas, like they started out as just ideas on a whiteboard, you know. They just started out as like conversations exactly like this, you know. You just like do something and then over time it starts to build and gain momentum.
Yeah, you almost don't know where it's going to go either sometimes. You just it's like you're just there for the ride almost.
Yeah, and it's like from your perspective, like I found your videos through YouTube, you know, just independent of anyone sending them to me. And
oh, cool.
And it's like, you know, that was just as a result of you putting yourself out there. And you know,
did I have long hair back then?
I don't.
Or is it?
I don't. I don't remember. But
I used to have really long hair. Yeah.
Yeah. I saw your pencil sharpening video.
Oh no, that's like the oldest one ever.
Yeah. It's the one with the most views.
I was so nervous on that one.
Yeah.
That was my earliest one. So
like 5 million views or something.
Yeah. I was like half drunk. Trying to.
Well, but again, it's like
trying to work through the nerves.
I don't know, man. I think it's a. Oh shit! I'm recording on over Marshall's thing right now. Or whatever.
Did you already download it?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, good.
But I added, so I just added. Well, yeah, whatever. But I think it's like you never could have predicted that, you know.
Yeah. No, it's weird.
And
it's
very
like,
strange. Well, and I think it's like, what if you instead of spent more time like, you know, doing things you didn't want to do and just focused entirely on that? Like, what else could have come from those kind of?
I don't know, man. It's like I've been. What's his name? Joseph Campbell. Way back in the. I think I saw his video back in the 90s, and he was talking about follow your bliss. Yeah. And it's like, kind of sounds like really hokey, but basically he's saying just find that thing you like to do and do it. Yeah. It sounds really simple. Yeah. But he talked about having a space in your life to practice that. Yeah. Even if you don't know what it is, like for an hour a day, read a book, and you'll start to develop a sense of where you want to go. Yeah. Yeah. So. Well, and I think it's better to have a bad plan than no plan at all. Yeah, it's better to have something that gets you out of bed. That's a good point. You know, and it's like a. It is a bad plan. But again, it's like once you have a bad plan, you can like adjust your course. Like maybe you're going, like maybe you really want to go that way, you know, but you're currently going that way. You know, maybe you're going kind of in that direction. So it's like maybe in 20 years you'll get there. Whereas like if you're going just straight, you'd get there in a year. But, you know, it's like, okay, you're like, oh, I can recognize that I am wasting my time with these things, so I can like correct my, you know, my course and eventually get to a place where you're doing it much quicker. You know? But you can't get to a point where you're doing it much quicker unless you go down the path of like wasting your time doing shit. You know? Yeah, getting lost in the woods somewhere. Well, that's part of like the hero's journey. You know, it's like that's in every single like, you know, the young prince gets like. You know, he walks into the woods and, you know, gets lost or something, you know. It happens in, like, The Lion King. Yeah, you know? Then you get a call from somebody like you one day, and they're like, dude, you got to get on this. Yeah. Stop being a bitch. Yeah, stop being a bitch and start making videos again. Yeah, seriously, man. You've been quiet for 6 months. Yeah, I think that's what you're saying. Well, and it's like a... those are the people along the hero's journey that you come across, and they kind of like help you, kind of guide you along a little bit. Absolutely, and again, it's like I take no credit for it. It's all you. You know, it's all you. Like, you know, you're a huge inspiration, man. Well, it's like, you know, showing you the light. You know, it's like almost like the only thing that people can do is like a reminder. You know, it's like the shaman in The Lion King. I can't remember the baboon's name. I still haven't seen it. Seriously? I keep meaning to watch it, especially since I think Jordan Peterson talks about it. Yeah, he did that. And then Pinocchio too. I'm like, man, I gotta watch Pinocchio. I haven't seen Pinocchio, but The Lion King is really good. I mean, it's really worth your time. But I think it's like Yoda, I think, is a better example. Yeah. You've seen Star Wars. Yeah. Okay, cool. Of course. But like Yoda is this like wacky, crazy character, and he shows Luke the way, you know, and it's like he's not able to help physically, but all he does is like just tell him things like, hey, just like stop being a bitch. He's kind of an asshole. Seriously, it's like there is no try, just do, you know. And that resonates with people. It's like that idea of like, you know, that small amount of genuine encouragement, like you know, I believe in you, and actually meaning it, that's like incredibly powerful. And I think everyone has their own personal
journey and their own personal like legend to try and pursue.
Mm-hmm.
And it is okay to lose your path sometimes. It's okay to just like, you know, like feel like you're not making any progress. It's not like it's entirely okay, but you know, your failure or your like lack of being on the path that you want to be is actually part of the path, you know.
That's true.
You know, you can't, you were working as a pharmacist doing drawing videos on the side.
Yeah. So like sometimes people will ask me how I made the transition so smoothly, and it's like it's anything but smooth.
Yeah.
It's a terrifying, chaotic road of sometimes I work full time, sometimes I work part time, sometimes I don't work, so I can work on art. So it's like I'll save up some money, I'll take time off, focus on art, build a skill. Sometimes I have to work again when I don't want to.
Yeah.
And then I have to figure it out. I have stacks and stacks of little little pocket notebooks where I just fill up with ideas while I'm working.
Yeah.
And that might be the only creative outlet I have for that day, was like, you know, in the bathroom, like trying to write down some ideas, hiding from the boss.
Yeah.
Like, but I got stacks of them.
Right.
And I got lots of information to pull from that. So
yeah,
it's just trying to find like a way to survive artistically.
Yeah. Well, and I think it's like it's not entirely obvious like what the correct thing to do is all the time. You know.
Yeah.
It's like maybe that was actually the precisely correct thing you should have been doing at that right moment. You know.
I don't know.
And I mean, for me, it's like I'm working for Proco. I really like working for Proco, and I'm going to for the foreseeable future. But it's like, if I were just in my bedroom by myself making YouTube videos and like that being the only thing I was doing, I think I would crack from pressure. You know, it's like that's too much all at once.
Yeah.
Like, I think I could do it, but there would be like a price to pay for it. You know.
Yeah.
It's like too much of my mental health just like trying to, you know, throw Hail Marys to like, you know, do drawing videos or doing art videos. And it's like, for me, that's not the right thing to do right now. I'm not quite, you know, at a stage in my confidence to where I feel like I could actually be successful at that. And I think it's totally okay, you know, it's totally fine, you know. And it's the same thing for the opposite of that, where somebody who feels, you know, they are in their bedroom just making art videos, like, like, and doing those, doing those videos weekly. It's like it's okay for somebody to be there and where I'm at, and we can both exist and be contributing perfectly valid things to society and
definitely
saying perfectly.
You need more people on YouTube doing art, like like there's just so many perspectives and creativity. No matter what you do, it's gonna like inspire somebody.
Yeah, well, and I think the thing I've been telling people is
your hair looks beautiful, by the way.
Oh, thank you. It's hot head.
Can I touch it?
Yeah, sure.
It's so thick.
Yeah, it's Asian hair.
Nice.
Yeah, I've been told I have great hair.
Oh yeah.
But the thing I tell people is like, if you feel like you can't say something of value to somebody, it's like, in Stan's case, if you want to teach academic drawing in the Riley method style, like, oh, Proco did it too well, like I can't do it.
Oh yeah, you got in my head. Well, that's one of the things that my brain tells me.
Well, and it's like,
oh, why am I even doing this? Like,
Stan did it better.
He was my teacher, like.
Well, but there are people that resonate. Like you would, like, even though you're teaching the same exact thing with the same exact medium, you're saying it completely differently. You know, you're actually teaching a different thing. It's like he's teaching for like academic Russian fine art, and you're teaching for, you know, something like a lifestyle, like just teaching drawing in general, just for fun.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, you're actually like, you know, it's interesting watching Ben Young and
he's one of
Eric
my favorites.
Gist. Yeah. Well, like I remember for one of the Friday classes, I saw Ben and Eric. They like sat next to each other. Like Eric came in to sit in the class or something, and they were sitting next to each other, and they were doing the same exact drawing at the same exact time, same exact medium, same exact pencil and everything, and their drawings look completely different.
Yeah.
And it's like that's something else that you can't explain. You know, it's like
it's magic.
Well, it's like they're different fucking people. You know.
It's
like they're saying different things. You know, it's like, you know.
And you can see it. You can tell which one it belongs to Eric, which one belongs to Ben.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
And somebody might like Ben's more than Eric's, and somebody might like Eric's. And as it relates to us, it's like you can do something that's like very similar to somebody else because it's not going to be exactly the same.
Yeah.
Just by your personality, you value completely different things.
Yeah.
It's just the tools you're using are the same.
Yeah. And the fundamentals are pretty locked in tight as far as that goes. Like you get some variation from your personality, but overall, I mean, the fundamentals are pretty much that.
Yeah.
Like when I draw for myself, like it all goes out the window.
Yeah.
Did the camera die?
It did die. This camera's gonna die too.
Oh, is it?
Oh, the price of the batteries.
I thought I saw a battery over here.
I think I grabbed it.
Did I?
I don't know if I did.
Is it right there?
Yeah, I think it is.
Okay.
This one is literally about to die.
How long do they last? Like
So normally it lasts like
20 minutes?
the actual battery life, or
Or the camera, because my camera turns off after 20 minutes because they have like a built-in.
it's 29 minutes.
Oh yeah.
It's why I have the iPad.
Yeah.
Because eventually they all die.
Right.
There's
I
nothing
think
you can do
I
about
think
it.
they designed it that way, right? They turn off. Something to do with the
Taxes or something.
yeah, something to do with the.
Okay, that's good. Yeah. There's like a tax or something. Or it's
Yeah.
like-
So they had to put like a limit on it.
yeah.
Which I fought. That's why I was doing 20 minutes. I would draw for 20 minutes and take
Yeah.
a 5-minute break because I'm like, screw it. It just matches school anyway. So.
Yeah. Well, it's
Because in class they do like 20 minutes, 5-minute break.
Well, that's I think it's one of those weird synchronicity things.
Yeah.
It's like you're trained in that way.
I know.
It's, exactly the way you're supposed to be drawing.
Oh my gosh.
apparently. If this camera.
How many times I did a drawing and the camera wasn't on?
Oh man.
It goes off.
Oh, okay, they're both alive. Sick. See if we can move this light. Make it less bright.
What's this right here? Is this a light?
Oh, it is, but it's not
Dead.
working. It died. Whatever. Okay. It's all going again. But yeah, man, I think it's I've been living in this van for the past 5 months, and
Yeah.
I have been really scared about putting myself out there and actually making things. And
In what way? You mean like online?
yeah, online. Yeah.
Okay.
And I've been doing it for 5 months, and I've experienced an incredible amount of kindness from people.
Yeah.
And just like knowing that I can like choose to just like live in a van by myself and drive around the country and host a podcast and have it be something really meaningful to me,
Yeah.
is incredibly existentially fulfilling. Like no matter what I do, I can like find meaning in just like talking to people. And like this van was extremely, I mean, it was like $3,700.
Yeah.
These this is Marshall's camera
Yeah.
that he gave me, and this is
That's so cool.
Stan gave me this camera. This is like one of the things he used to shoot his figure course on.
Oh my God, that's crazy.
So it's like this, weird,
That's cool. You gotta hold on to that forever.
Yeah. Well, and it's like all these things came together to where it's like, okay, wow, people support me.
Yeah.
And, when I asked, the universe kind of opened a bunch of doors for me. And I think it's the same thing for, like, the things that you did. Like, you have this like you wanted to draw for fun, and you started sharing with people, and people started to resonate with like, oh, I want to draw this way, and then people like start watching YouTube videos and tag you on Instagram when they do the exercises that you told me.
Oh yeah. I love
Yeah.
it.
Well, and
I
it's
love
like-
seeing other people like do the drawing. Like especially, my favorite is when somebody says they haven't drawn in like 10 years or
Yeah.
15 years and they start drawing again.
Yeah.
I just fucking love that.
And you made their lives better, man. And it's like, oh, it's sick.
It's
dude.
exciting. They're freaking good too.
Yeah.
Like, and you can see them get good like really fast. And it's
Yeah.
just it's so rad.
Well, I think it's like a really important part of creativity to acknowledge that kind of stuff. Like no matter what you do, you're not in a star. Let's quiet out airflow. You're not in a vacuum in terms of what you can, like how you can socialize. No matter what you do, like your decisions affect other people. You know, if you, even if you're just like somebody in their room, like you're still somebody's daughter or somebody's son, somebody's you know, somebody's something. You know, and you, no matter what you do, like you're communicating ideas out into the world. Like you just can't help it.
Yeah.
You know, by you being in your room doing nothing, you're like, people pay attention to that.
Yeah.
You know? People see you doing that. And they're like, okay.
People will watch you.
Yeah.
Whether you're just, you know, not online at all, if you're just at work somewhere.
Yeah, and it's like
they watch how you act and.
And like the more that you can communicate ideas that you truly believe in, I think the more the universe rewards you for like being the person that you want to be.
Yeah. Well, it's really hard to be authentic. At least for me, it was, or still is. It's like I work at it to try to be authentic, and I fail most of the time. I think to some degree.
To me, you come off as pretty authentic.
I try.
I
think because I grew up in a very like controlled environment, you know, and after breaking out of that, it's sort of like I don't want to go back into that shell.
Well, I think anyone that is like, most people that I know that are struggling with like feeling honest with themselves are generally people that are pretty honest. You know, they're like, you know, it's like being too self-critical of yourself. You know. Yeah. I struggle with the same thing. Like, I've talked to a lot of people about this where I struggle between like feeling like am I living like a mostly ethical life? You know. And sometimes the answer is like, I don't think I am. You know, it's like with all my, you know, I could be helping cure malaria, but instead I'm like making a podcast. You know, it's like, it seems pretty selfish, you know? But I think that's like almost like the evil side of me talking.
Yeah.
It's like trying to talk myself into nihilism or something.
I was thinking it's more like it's probably an excuse.
Yeah, absolutely.
To keep you from doing it.
Yeah.
It's a tricky one because it's like
it's right.
It sounds ethical.
Yeah, I mean it's correct. It's like malaria is pretty important.
Yeah,
you know, you should probably be doing something about that. But it's like that's
there's already a person out there that's into that.
Well, and they're not into drawing.
Yeah,
you know? And it's like I don't know. I've been believing a lot more in I guess like spirituality and synchronicity and stuff, and like you can't like. The universe is so complicated that the fact that you care about the things that you care about specifically is fucking weird, you know? It's like the fact that you care about drawing and not like...
It's weird, right?
Cleaning chimneys or something, you know, or like playing pool or, you know. There are people that care about pool as much as you care about drawing, you know? And like the world can be anything, you know, it could like... your specific values are so specific to you that they can't actually be anyone else's, you know. And I think it's really important to acknowledge that because it's like that's like the thing that the universe put in front of you that you can't help. Like, you know, like you were I guess maybe exposed to certain things when you were younger that like made you care about drawing and that made you like pursue going to the Watts Atelier, which like this set of circumstances that you almost had no choice in the matter of whether you cared about it or not.
Yeah.
You know? And like whether you want to call that random chance or fate, like I don't think it actually matters to me. It's like you have a set of values that are put in front of you that you have no control over.
Yeah. I think that's true. Like for me, I think it was my mom's love.
Yeah.
Is why, because she's an artist.
Yeah.
And just sitting with her at the table when I was a kid. Yeah. Yeah. That was like that was the best time.
Yeah, and
hanging out with my mom.
Just drawing pictures, right?
Yeah. And she would, I mean, the praise she would give was like insane. Like she would praise it. Yeah. And then she would like, maybe you should check this out. Right. Like, and she would give me like a tiny little critique. Yeah. Then I would fix it. And then she'd praise it again. Yeah. And it was just like, great. It was like the praise, critique, praise.
Yeah. Well, that's the right way to do it, and I think it's
man, it was awesome.
You know, you have this like inbuilt thing inside of you that you can't help but, you know, try to keep pursuing. Yeah. You know? And I think again that's like something really important to pay attention to. You know, like you actually can't help but value drawing at this point in your life. You know, like no matter what you do, you're going to care about it. And like as it relates to other people, it's like almost like once you acknowledge that it's almost not your choice whether you value drawing or not, or whatever you really value, it's like you can give yourself permission to pursue the things you want to pursue, you know, whether it's like drawing or painting or playing music, or
instead of saying like there's something better I should be doing.
yeah, or something safer or something like,
oh yeah, right.
Like,
like why would I give up that high paying job,
right,
you know, health insurance, everything, I could have bought a house,
right,
you know, could have got the mortgage.
Yeah.
Why would I give that up?
Right, just to draw pictures, right?
Yeah.
And it's like talking yourself into nihilism. It's like this thing that I care about doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know? And I think, in like a religious sense, you know, we're made in the image of God, like in whatever way that means. You know, like I don't believe in that literally. I believe in it in a figurative sense, where you can create meaning out of something. Like an animal can't look at a hammer and be like, "That's a hammer." They just see it as a collection of wood and nails, or wood and iron, you know. They just see it as like a stick, essentially. You know? But a human sees like, oh, I can build a house with that. You know, I can kill somebody with that. I you know, it's no longer just a collection of molecules and atoms. It becomes something to do other things with. It represents a house. It represents a weapon or whatever else.
Yeah.
And like a dog can't look at a van and be like, I'm going to start a podcast out of that van and drive around the United States, you know. It's all the same to the dog, no matter what, you know. And you're able to create meaning out of nothing, essentially, you know.
So what kind of meaning do you get from interviewing people?
It's more like,
is it like seeing how other people see the world?
Exactly, yeah, that's it. I mean, I think the thing we're fundamentally limited by is our own vision. Like, like if you think of your ideal person, the person that you look up to most that is actually a real person, you know, and you think about like what's different from them and you, it's like your brains. That's the only thing, you know. It's like they value different things than you do, you know? And just by the act of me going and talking to so many different people, is I get to see almost like the world through their lens, you know. I get to see what it's like to live with different values, you know. Whether it's like I was interviewing Albin Veselka, and I really admire him. He's a really great painter, and he lives this really like romantic life with his wife and kids in Idaho, and he has a farm and
so rad,
you know, dogs and stuff, and paints pictures, and like that's fucking awesome, you know. It's like I don't know that many people that live that life. They're all like in small apartments and you know, like constantly struggling.
I want that life.
Well, like, and you could totally.
Man, I'm moving to Texas. I want that life.
Yeah, well, if you want to talk to Albin, you totally or people that are in New York City that are like, you know, I haven't interviewed these people, but people that are like worth $500 million.
I want that life too.
It's like, but it's like to see, it's like, what's the actual difference between these two people? You know, it's just in what they value. They work equally as hard. They're just going for different scales. Like, I think it's as difficult to do a great painting as it is to make a really successful company, you know? In terms of the amount of effort.
Yeah.
You know? But it's like, you know, the scale you're operating at when you make a great painting is like how many, like 20 people at a time can look at your painting. Whereas when you're trying to make a company that's worth $1 billion, you're trying to go like, you know, 500 billion people can look at this thing that I'm trying to do.
Yeah,
you know?
it's so wild.
You know, you're just trying to increase your scale, you know. And I don't know, man. It's like a that's the reason I travel. That's the reason I want to talk to so many people. Is you just get to see like, okay, how does this person function? Like, how do they, like, how do they suffer in their life, and how do they manage that suffering?
Oh yeah, that's really important. The managing part of the suffering. Yeah. Because we all got the suffering.
Yeah.
The trick is to figure it out.
You can't escape it.
No, you can't. And you have to make a decision. At least this is how I see it. Is like, do I want to go down this road of like self-hatred? Yeah. Because it goes to like a really bad place. I've been there before, and I don't want to go back. So when I hear those voices in the head, I just try to power through and keep working anyway.
Yeah, well, and I think it's so somebody will look at the fact that everyone is suffering, you'd be like, the world is meaningless. Like, no matter what you do, you're going to suffer. Like, even if you have everything that you want right now, it's not going to solve all your problems. You're actually you will still feel this existential dread, you know. And I think it's really dangerous to look at that and be like, the world is meaningless, because there's nothing that I can do that can solve my problems, you know.
Yeah.
But I think that that's actually a reason to feel really optimistic, is that you can, like, you know, you can choose to feel content in the moment right now just based on your own values, you know. It's like, there's no difference between you now and you in a year, you know, really. It's like your body will degrade a little bit and your brain will just value different things, you know, slightly.
Yeah.
But the beauty of that is, like, okay, you can identify what's the thing that's making you suffer the most right now, and then just decide to let go of it, you know, whether it's like a relationship or a job, or like maybe it's like physical comfort, you know, or something, you know?
Yeah, that's pretty good to do.
And
especially because I think if you leave too many of those things in your life, it kind of builds up.
Yeah,
and it drags you down.
Definitely. And
then something's going to happen, and you have to deal with it eventually anyway. So might as well
well,
live
absolutely.
for it and cut it off.
Definitely. And I mean, I think it is true that life is fundamentally suffering, you know? And maybe that suffering that you're experiencing right now is like your brain telling you, oh, you should sacrifice this thing, you know? And it's like a useful evolutionary thing. Like,
it's suffering, but god damn it, it's fun too.
It's fucking awesome. Yeah,
it's like scary and
Spice of
terrifying.
Life. Yeah, absolutely, man.
It's like you're going on, you know, you moved into a van.
Yeah.
Like, holy shit.
I've been living in this thing for fucking 9 months.
Yeah.
It's
like when you first told me about it, I was so excited, and I'm not even going
seriously.
with you, and
absolutely.
I was so excited. I was just like, God, this guy's gonna have so much fun.
But it's like
and he's gonna freeze his balls off in here.
Well, and again, it's like it's strange to me that somebody could be excited about this thing that I'm doing, because it's like it doesn't affect you on a day-to-day basis at all.
What the hell, it doesn't. I think about it all the time.
No, but again, it does. Like it's not like it's not like I'm cleaning your clothes. Or like, you know, mowing your lawn. Or
I'm
something.
on Instagram. You pop up. I'm like, hell yeah, that's
dude,
awesome.
Still doing
Where's he at?
Yeah.
He's in Montana.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Croatia, sick. Yeah. And it's like, but there's like a meaning there, you know, like a subjective meaning that you assign to that. It's like, you know, it's like a.
I think I think it's watching you going for it, like watching somebody doing the thing they really want to do, it's very uplifting. It's
absolutely.
It's like, well, it's almost like it feels me, like when I'm doing my stuff. I'm like, okay, I gotta get up and go do something.
Do it. Well, and
like,
I think it's like,
it's contagious.
And I think that's the art that I'm trying to create. It's like a, you know, it's like trying to inspire myself and seeing if somehow I can help. Like, I don't know if helping other people in that way is like entirely the goal, but it's like a, you know, just by you going and living an ideal and like following your dreams and facing your fears, you can inspire other people to, you know, face their fears.
For real.
Well, in the same way that it's like people that haven't drawn in 10 years are drawing because you're making a video, you know?
Yeah, it's crazy.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
It's like the best, you know?
Yeah, it makes me very happy.
And I think that's like the spice of life, you know, all the suffering becomes worth it because you're like knowingly just taking on this, like, oh yeah, it's totally worth it. You know? If I can help somebody, like, you know, reduce the suffering in their own life, then my life is better.
Yeah,
you know? It's like great, you know?
Yeah, it's not curing cancer, but it's,
I don't know.
I don't know what it is, but
I was talking to Katie Silva and Patrick Stannard about. They were on my podcast before, and they work on the Castlevania Netflix show and He-Man Netflix show, and well, they were talking about this stuff. It's like it's easy to feel nihilistic about your contribution when you're just making art videos. You're just making art, you know. But it's like maybe somebody who like they work as like a hospice nurse or something. And they come home and they're really excited to watch your YouTube video, you know, your Monday, you know, figure drawing thing or something.
Just a little break.
Yeah, and it's like they get to like step away from that for a little while, you know, and you're the reason they get to do that, you know.
Or I help them fall asleep.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people fall asleep to my voice, apparently.
Yeah, well, seriously, man, I don't know. It's like you know,
it's like hypnotic or something. I get that a lot. That's like probably like the main all-time like the common
Yeah.
comment I get is like, oh man, you help me sleep at night.
Yeah. Which is like,
you cure my insomnia.
well, and honestly, there's two ways of looking at that. You could be like, oh, I'm so boring. People.
No, I don't care. It's good.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Well, I don't know. I think it's like that is a good outcome from the videos.
Yeah.
You know.
It was unintended, but yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
But I think everybody's connected to each other more than they think.
Well, way more.
And
you know?
there's people like, I mean, you may not. I mean, people watch you. They see how you react to things, and they take inspiration from different things that you probably don't even know. Like just a small conversation at a coffee shop probably helps somebody. You don't even know. It's like,
yeah.
It's how many times? I mean, I'll talk to somebody randomly on the street for like 5 minutes, a little conversation, and I feel great afterwards because just that little human connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like, I don't know. Just
well, and I found that human connection is extremely abundant. You know, and it's just your ability to see it. It's your ability to go and pursue it.
Yeah.
You know? It's like that 5-minute conversation when you're super depressed is always there. You know, just walk down the street. You know, but it's like, are you able to pursue that? You know, it's like a, you know, in a biblical sense or like a religious sense. You know, I think the idea of heaven and hell is like, I think hell is a mindset, but heaven is a place, like an actual physical place, in a metaphorical sense, where, like, I mean, it's incredible. Just we're in a van created by other people, like this shiplap that I used to, you know, this was fucking created by somebody else, and the van. Yeah. Like, I have no idea how to build a van at all, you know? It's like, it's way more complex than anything I've ever done. Yeah. And I could just sit in here and not think about the people who built this van for me, you know?
That's true.
And the road that we're sitting on, that is paved, you know, by, like...
Yeah, somebody designed this window.
Yeah, seriously.
They decided they wanted this to curve in like that, blah, blah, and I don't know how that works.
Well, it's like, how do you fucking build that? You know, in the glass, it's like, what kind of, you know, this came from somewhere, and I have no idea what it's like to pave asphalt on a road, you know. And the fact that I can have complete faith that if I put in New York City in my Google Maps and just drive, all of the roads for 3,000 miles will be good enough for me to get there.
Yeah, that's wild.
Which is weird, right? It's like, it's almost like a tangible miracle, you know?
Yeah.
It's like there was enough, like so many other things had to have happened.
Dude. How many lives had to be involved in that? Like
running, like how many, like we had to like figure out language first. We had to figure out like running water and food and like, I don't know, sunscreen and, you know, clothing and all these other things had to be figured out before we could even think about paving roads.
Yeah. And
the fact that we have paved roads is weird. It's incredible.
Yeah, you're talking about like the GPS system. Like my dad, he would tell me stories about when he was surveying in the 60s. This is like the 50s. I think the early 60s and maybe up until like the early 70s.
Yeah.
He would go across the country and they would do surveys. They would build a tower in I think like 1 or 2 days, like a 50-foot tower. They go to the top and they do all this, I don't know, like gauges and stuff and figure out, they triangulate with the other towers that are a little further away.
Yeah.
And that was the basis of the GPS system that came later.
Yeah. So
they took all that surveying they did in the 60s, and then they started attaching it to the stars.
Yeah.
And that's where the GPS came. I had no idea. Like he would tell me stories about this tower that he used to build. They would build it, they would go up there, do their calculations, triangulations, tear it down, and move to the next city.
Yeah.
And that was one of the bases of the GPS system that we have now. And it's just like
crazy. Right?
Yeah, it's just like
insane.
one life, but it's just
had this incredible impact. You know?
Yeah.
And then that domino effect, it gets bigger and bigger over time. You know, it's like GPS and Google Maps has saved lives for people. You know, and just by the nature of like, you know, somebody who's cleaning toilets or somebody mopping a floor is contributing to that greater good, because it's like they, you know, do something for somebody else so that other person can think about like curing cancer.
Oh, yeah.
And that person is able to think about paving roads because like they don't have to worry about where they're going to find food or water, you know, and that person who can just drive on a paved road and not think about the person paving the road can go and like create artwork, you know. which inspires other people to go do other things.
Yeah,
you
whoever
know?
made the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah, the smooth newsprint. Goddamn.
Well, yeah, you have no idea.
I don't know.
Somebody made it. Like another human being on this planet made that newsprint, you know?
Right?
And it's weird. Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, everything is so way more complicated than we could ever possibly imagine. Like,
oh, yeah.
in order for you to, like, post videos on YouTube, there has to be hundreds of thousands of miles of fiber optic cables
Right.
under the ocean.
Right.
Connecting everything in order for you to just click upload and everyone in the world can see it.
Yeah.
That's fucking
Bonkers.
weird.
It's
you know?
bonkers.
It's amazing. You know, it's like we had to figure out submarines before you could figure out how to post a YouTube video. You know?
It's a trip.
Yeah, and it's like.
I don't understand it, but whatever.
Well, I think the right reaction to it is like extreme gratitude
Yeah,
for
that's
everything
true.
else around us. It's like I don't know if I believe in like biblical or Quran miracles and that's in like turning water into wine or walking on water or any of that kind of stuff. But I believe in those kind of miracles. It's like the complexity of our world is so beyond us that we can't even begin to possibly imagine how crazy everything is.
Yeah. And it's weird, like, art is so simple, and it's like taking dirt and just rubbing it into the wall, like
Like
cave.
burnt tree stick, you know.
You're just smudging something, like to make it look like something else. Like, what is that? Like, why do we do that?
Well,
Where
there's
does
like,
that come from? It's so strange.
and again, it's like I think I'm gonna write a book at some point, and one of the chapters in the book is gonna be called, I think, why do we build museums instead of hospitals?
Huh.
You know, because it's like something like the Metropolitan Museum of Art, New York City. The land that on is worth, you know, $10 billion or more, or something, and then the actual building itself is worth, you know, many millions of dollars as well. And then the actual artwork inside of the Metropolitan Museum of Art is
There's
priceless.
no price.
You know,
There's no price.
you know,
tag, no.
you couldn't trade countries for that. You know.
That's a good title. I like that.
Well, and it's like that money and those resources used to maintain the Met and, you know, just the artwork itself, it could be used to save lives.
Yeah.
You know, that's true. You know, but for some reason we don't. You know, it's like
Part of the human spirit, maybe it's supposed to lift up the human spirit. Like if you take that away, maybe
well, and it's like
it does some damage to the psyche of the
yeah.
people.
Well, and I think as it relates to us, it's like we're doing our own small version of that, where it's like, why are you making YouTube videos instead of trying to cure malaria? You know,
Yeah.
there is that like.
How dare you?
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, seriously. I mean, it's like a good question to ask. You know, it's like you care. I'm the same way. I care about making art videos and doing these podcasts more than I care about curing malaria. You know.
Yeah.
Or feeding the poor, or you know, whatever else. And it's like maybe
man, now I want to go to like doctors.
Well, maybe
Doctors Without Borders to help out now.
I thought about that.
Why am I drawing all day?
No, but again, it's like you go into that nihilistic sense. It's like, you know,
It's easy to.
yeah. It's like I think that art obviously does have a meaning. You know?
Yeah.
It does give people a purpose in their lives. You know, and I think it's important to think about these problems because it's like, why do I care about like anyone that's listening to this? You can go and save a life instead of listening to this podcast. You know, you could have spent this time like, you know, feeding a homeless person or something. You know, but instead you chose to listen to this podcast. So you're making this value judgment that to listen to this instead of doing that other thing.
Yeah.
You know, which is like I think it's important to think about why you're doing that kind of stuff. You know,
Podcasts are really important.
Yeah.
And when I was working in pharmacy, you know, especially at the mail order pharmacy, because mail order, I'm just working on the computer, just, you know, hitting the buttons. Having a podcast, hearing somebody else talk about philosophy and stuff was, dude, it helped so much just to get through the day.
Yeah.
It's so important.
Yeah. Well, and again, I think it's important to think about your values and why you do things. Like, why are we, you know, sitting in a van, you know, recording this thing on a Monday night instead of like, you know,
it's because you texted me, bro.
Yeah, well, no, but it's like we could be like on a plane to Dubai right now. We could be.
Oh man.
You know, we could be like at a nightclub. We could be, you know, just like sitting around playing video games. We could be doing anything, you know. But instead, we're doing this, you know. And the fact that the world is open to us and we're choosing to do this instead of all those other things is, again, it's like, where does that come from? Where does that like idea of being specific with what we want to do come from, you know? And I think it comes back to the value things, you know? You can't control what you value.
Yeah.
Like, the idea of us going to Dubai is not even like a possibility because it's like we don't know anyone there. You know? There's no reason to go there, you know.
Yeah.
Or Antarctica, or you know.
Yeah, somebody they're like, Brad, you should like start your own compound pharmacy. You can make a lot of money.
Yeah.
And they were like, how do you go about doing that? And I go, well, first I would have to have a desire to do that. Like you said, like it has to be something that you want to do. Like,
Well, and I think as it relates to somebody.
and you think you can't control that as much?
Yeah. Well,
Your interest, or
I don't think I can at all. I mean,
yeah.
Through like, I think I'm surrounded by some of the best art teachers in the world, and that does not get me to want to paint all the time. You know, it's like I'm surrounded by, you know, through my father, I've had access to incredible opportunities that very few people have access to, and I'm like, fuck that. You know, I want to live in a van. You know, it's like, where does that come from? You know, that like value, you know, judgment. You know, to live like a much more humble life than otherwise. You know, it's like a.
Do you value the freedom of it?
Yeah, for sure.
That's a huge thing for you. Like
Absolutely.
The freedom.
Yeah, the freedom, and I don't know where that comes from specifically, but I know it's there. You know, and I can't help it.
Yeah.
And like, as it relates to somebody's own personal success, like whether they want to be a professional concept artist or an illustrator or a fine artist, I think it's like, if you can't get yourself to draw or paint, you should pay attention to that. Like, maybe it's easier for you to get yourself to play video games and eat cupcakes instead of drawing a picture, you know? And I don't think there's any shame in admitting that. You know, I think that's actually the first step to solving your own problems, is like, why do I want to watch YouTube videos instead of drawing this picture? You know? Yeah. It's like, there's a reason for it, because your brain is choosing to do that, you know?
It's weird, because you have these desires, like let's say drawing, like you want to draw.
Yeah.
Like, I wanted to draw. I want to draw all the time. I mean, that's what, when I can't draw, I want to draw all the time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, if I have all the time to draw, then all the other stuff starts coming in, like, oh man, I really want that cupcake. Oh, I just want to watch it. You know, I just drew for like an hour, like, let's watch 15 minutes of TV, and then like stretches. It's like, it's really weird. Like, once like somebody puts a constraint on your life and you have less time to to draw, like, for me anyway, it makes me want to draw more, and I get kind of hyper focused on it. But all that, if I have the freedom, there's a lot of responsibility that goes along with that freedom, because that time is all yours. And
well, I think it's
and I don't know, I mean, you would think like the desire to draw, already having that, like, that's all I would do for the moment I wake up to the moment I go to bed at night. But it's not. It's like,
I think that's like, in a sense, the evil side of you talking. It's like, you know, to fault yourself for that, I think, is actually a mistake, because it's like, that's everyone's life. It's like, you can't just reconstruct yourself in the way that you want to be, you know? Like, everyone could just like plan out their perfect day in terms of how efficient they could be. It's like, wake up at 5:30 a.m. and go for a 6-mile run, and then read a book for, you know, 3 hours, and then eat breakfast, and breakfast is just like a pile of lettuce.
I've done that before, like marked it down like by the hour of every
exactly, and you can't maintain it. You know, it's just impossible, you know. And it's like, why, you know, I'm reading this book I was telling you by Nietzsche, or no, it's a biography book on Carl Jung. And in it, Carl Jung is talking about his like childhood, and as a child he was like, you know, questioning, it's like, well, where does evil come from? You know, where does the idea of like evil shit, like, why do people do bad stuff? You know,
he's a deep kid, huh?
Yeah. I don't think he had many friends, but I think it's like, he was questioning these things, and the conclusion he came to is like, you know, if God is all good, if that's true, my creator or whatever it is all good, then these feelings that I have come from a creator that is all good. There's a reason for them, you know. So it's like that desire for you to eat a cupcake instead of drawing is like it's coming from somewhere, you know. It's like, you know, a deep fear of drawing, maybe, you know, and maybe that eating of the Doritos or cupcake or something allows you to step away from that fear and take less responsibility, you know.
Yeah.
And maybe it's something that's like, maybe you actually just can't draw all the time. Maybe you just don't want to.
Well, some people talk about good and evil. So
Yeah.
maybe that's a representation of the evil that's in the world.
Yeah, yeah.
Trying to keep you from doing the thing that makes you feel good. I mean, makes you feel more powerful.
Well, in another sense, it's like you actually don't have a lot of time in a day. Like you can't.
It seems like you should, right? Like if you have like a full weekend. Like
So-
I used to like try to pack everything in on the weekend when I was working like you know, full time and some overtime. It's like, oh,
You can't,
I got
though.
2 days. I'm gonna do 4 videos. I'm gonna train.
do everything, right? Well, and I think that's actually the nihilistic part of it. I think that's actually a very nihilistic way to live, because you're living like nothing matters, and you're actually disregarding the reality of who you are. You're like not paying attention to the truth if you're trying to be hyper efficient in that way. It's like, you know, you're a lot more complicated than just being able to control your, like there's that saying, it's easier to rule a city than yourself, you know.
Oh wow, yeah, that's true.
It's
Damn,
like
that's a good one.
You know, you can't just like and the people that I know that are artists that try to live that way are not good artists, you know. They're not creative people necessarily, you know.
Yeah.
I'm sure I'm generalizing, I'm sure I'm wrong in some cases, but it's like I think that if art is truly fundamentally about creative expression, if you're being a tyrant to yourself in that way, being creatively free is really difficult, you know. If you're planning out every 15-minute interval of your day,
Yeah.
it's like, how can you leave any room for spontaneity, you know?
Yeah.
And
I mean, yeah.
um
It doesn't, like you said, it doesn't last very long.
yeah,
And it does start to fall apart. And then you start beating up on yourself because, you know, you're not doing the plan that you thought you were.
well,
going to do.
that's almost like, you know, being a tyrant to yourself.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it almost would have been better if you didn't do it at all and you weren't an asshole to yourself. You know,
That's true.
It's like, you know, I'm a piece of shit for not getting up at 6 a.m. today.
Yeah, yeah.
Fuck you. You know?
Man, you're in my head again.
Jeez. Yeah, human brain's so weird. You know? It is true that there are 7.5 billion other people on the planet right now, just like living their lives.
Yeah.
Right this second, and we're just like, again, like
Yeah, look at we're in a neighborhood. You
Yeah,
can
yeah.
see the homes.
people are driving past us. You know.
Imagine the story that's in that car that's about to go by.
Yeah. That's a person right there. You know?
Huge life.
That's a person too.
Yeah.
It's like these are people, you know, and they live their own lives, and it's like,
There's a lot of them.
The fact that you can call any specificity to your own life, again, is something that like, it's strange. It's like the things that you care about, like the fact that you care about some people, like
Yeah.
100 people out of the 7.5 billion people on the planet, is weird. It's like,
Yeah.
why are those 100 people special to
I
you?
heard that's like the max too, right? Like
Yeah,
around
like
100.
150.
Yeah.
Is the,
I forgot the name. What's it called?
I forgot
Some law.
Yeah.
Yeah, like 100 people.
Fancy pants law.
That's crazy because my pharmacy class, I always go back to the pharmacy class when I think about a group of people, because our class was 122 people.
Yeah.
So I can visualize it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we can remember.
Yeah,
that's all.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
all the people we can
A
connect with.
small amount, and it's like out of your 100,000 followers on YouTube, it's like, you know, you actually can't communicate with all of them.
Yeah.
You know? But they know who you are, you know.
Yeah.
And I think it's like, you know, it's I guess it's like amazing to me that you can care so much about so few things, you know, because I think everything is really meaningful and matters a lot.
Yeah.
It's just your, you know, set of circumstance, you know. It's like building a bridge is really fucking hard, but I have no interest in building bridges. I don't care about
so
it
you
at all.
should don't build a bridge.
If
you have no interest in it, please don't build a bridge.
I shouldn't be a heart surgeon either.
Don't go to engineering school.
Yeah, and it's like, you know.
And it's unfortunate because a lot of people, you know, are
Brett-
doing jobs that they probably shouldn't be doing.
Well, it's,
myself included with the pharmacy.
and I think it's there are two ways of looking at that. You could be like, oh, if everyone was doing what they wanted all the time, then we wouldn't have running water and trains wouldn't work, you know. Or it's like if everyone was doing exactly what they wanted, then there wouldn't be any war, you know. There wouldn't be any need for trains because everyone would just be like content where they are, you know.
Is it raining?
No, there's a. Oh, I thought that person was going to parallel park.
Oh, right here.
I don't know.
Oh, that'd be cool.
They're gonna, space on, I think.
Bring him on the podcast.
That'd be funny. But yeah, I think it's I don't know, man. This way of living has made me a lot more just like, yeah, it doesn't matter. Do whatever you want.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you know, the fact that you can care about something specifically is really meaningful.
Yeah.
Like instead of like trying to play for the Patriots or something, you decided to make art videos.
Yeah.
And you had the option to try to be a football player, you know, or like a heart surgeon, or you know, like again, go down the list of infinite amount of things.
Yeah.
But you chose to make art videos instead.
Yeah. But that was until after a lot of other stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe art videos is not the last thing you try.
I want to open up a school or a studio.
Yeah.
Or something. Like I want a group of people in the flesh, like hanging out in the room and drawing and talking shit.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Well,
I just want a place where we could all hang out.
Well, you should.
I mean, online is okay, but man, it's so much more fun. Like, you know.
Fuck yeah, dude.
It doesn't even have to be a class. I just want like I don't know, like a warehouse somewhere.
Well, if you want Bradwynn to teach you, email him and tell him that you will go to his school.
Okay.
Yeah. And then we will start the Bradwynn Atelier.
There you go.
Nice.
Atelier. That word.
Atelier.
Atelier.
Would you call it the Jones Atelier?
I don't know. I
What
don't
about
know what to call it. That word is so crazy. It took me forever to learn how to say it.
Atelier.
Eight liar.
Atelier.
Eight liar.
Atelier.
Yeah. I feel like you sound like a pipe.
Yeah.
Atelier.
The Jones Drawing School for Talking Shit.
Yeah, something like that.
I like it. I go to that school.
Should put like some sort of like very secretive name on the building so you don't know what it is.
Yeah, to have a password.
Yeah, just some random.
The Riley method.
Make it look like a evil corporation or something.
I was talking to friends about this a while ago. A good band name is the Riley method.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
There probably is one in Austin.
Yeah. The Riley method.
I hear there's lots of bands in Austin. So.
Fuck yeah, dude. But I don't know. It's like all it would take to start a school is like renting out a building and just like having some.
That's
classes,
what, right?
It's not that much.
Just like Jeff Watts was talking about the way he started. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he said something like the way he started it was he just wanted a place to hang out and draw.
Yeah.
And he wanted people to chip in on the model.
Yeah.
So at first it wasn't a school per se, but it was like more of a studio hangout.
Yeah, and
kind of thing.
I think it was like 21 or 22.
Yeah.
Young kid, you know.
And then it started developing where he was showing people how to do this or that.
Yeah.
And then they opened up to classes, and then he had students and then teachers and like you were talking about earlier, like slow build.
Yeah, building things over time.
Yeah, like I'm sure if he was 22 and he's looking at somebody who had what he has now, man, that's probably can't imagine getting to that point. But
yeah, just do it over time.
Yeah,
you know?
Like what he's done is amazing.
Ask and you shall receive, and I think it's like you can totally get to a point where you have your own school and you are living comfortably, just and doing that exact thing.
Yeah, I have a vision a little bit. It's a ranch.
Yeah.
There's chickens.
Nice.
There's
Goats.
a vegetable garden, maybe a greenhouse, and of
Yeah.
course there's a
Nice,
studio where we all hang out and draw and sculpt and
dude.
Paint.
Totally possible.
And then the plein air would be really easy. You just walk outside.
I don't know. Whenever I think about doing that kind of stuff, like I think about like the American industrial military complex,
Yeah.
And you just think about how complex it is.
Yeah.
And how it's like, there are people that like created the nuclear bomb, and that exists.
Yeah, that's true.
The atom bomb. Like there's somebody that has their finger on a button that if they press it, it will launch a missile through the sky, and it will land on something and destroy everything for like 300 miles.
Yeah.
And it's like, if that exists, then you can have a little like a little room where you can teach drawing.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not that much to ask for.
Yeah, I was thinking about a yurt.
Yeah.
Like one of those.
Yeah, seriously. I don't know.
With some solar panels on it, off grid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, you're right. If somebody can do that nuclear bomb.
There was a bit Joe Rogan did a while ago where it's like, if you're stuck on a, it's like he was talking about how little he knows about email. It's like,
Oh yeah.
and I think the joke was like, if you were stuck on an island, how long would it be before you could send me an email?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, we would just like
Never.
It's like,
well, you got all that infrastructure underneath it. It goes on for like eons. Right?
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Yeah. It's like you just can't do it. But and again, it's like, the miracle of the world that we live in is that you can just like the drywall that would be required to build a studio, all the wood and all the paint, all the heating and all like electrical, running water, is all figured out for you already.
That's true.
That's like the hardest part, and the extent of what it would cost is like maybe like $600 to $1,000 a month or something.
Yeah.
Which is like not that much to ask for.
Yeah.
For like drywall, modern drywall, like even like 80 years ago might be worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars because it's just way better than it's not full of asbestos.
Yeah, I was about to say, wasn't it asbestos?
Yeah. And then they're not going to get cancer from living in this house. And,
Wait, what is this made of?
I don't know. Just
Is this wood? Is it really wood?
I think so.
Composite?
Yeah. I don't know. I think it's
So what's your plan? Like, what kind of things do you vision for yourself?
I'm kind of at a
few
crossroads
years.
right now. I mean, I would like to have a simpler life. I don't want to pursue grand.
You live in a van, dude.
Well, I mean, I don't, I don't want to pursue being a billionaire. It's like that's what I've wanted in the past.
That's what the billionaire said when he was
yeah, I
in
guess
his
so.
20s.
Yeah, I'm 26 now. Maybe the plans will change, but like I don't want to be like a great man in whatever way that means. Like, I want to just like do the things I like doing, and like pursue meaning is probably the closest thing that I could say. Like,
Yeah.
I don't have any grand visions for any businesses I want to start, except actually I do, but not like.
You seem like you're the type of person that looks in on themselves and asks themselves what they want. What kind of like you're asking your gut what to do.
Yeah, in a sense. Yeah.
What is it kind of like saying lately?
It's find a more stable life. I haven't.
How long have you been in the van for?
9 months.
9 months.
And I've been traveling for 3 years. And I'm tired of traveling. I'm very tired. I haven't dated anybody in like 3 years.
Yeah.
And there's been a price to pay for that.
It's because you're
like,
a moving target.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like I feel like my ability to develop deeper connections has kind of diminished because I'm moving around so much. And it's been worth it to go and see the world in the way I've seen the world. But like I can't value just like going to a coffee shop, and just sitting there as much as I used to be able to, or going and reading a book, or doing anything, because I'm like, oh, the world is open to me. I can just go to Dubai right now. I can just like see I can go to Antarctica. I can go do all these things.
Yeah.
So mundane life just seems more tedious to me,
Oh wow.
And it's like again, if you have cupcakes all the time, it's like if you're in awesome places all the time, there are diminishing returns on how much you care about that stuff.
That's true.
And I'm not saying that like going on all these adventures is tedious, but it's also like you can't do it all the time,
Yeah.
at least for me. It's like I need some time to rest and just like play video games and just like do other things.
You want something a little bit more stable.
Yeah, for
like,
now.
Like physically, like not
yeah.
moving around as much.
I do have like crazy trips planned for the future.
Yeah.
For my 30th birthday, I have a crazy thing planned. I think.
Do you?
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know if I want to talk about it yet.
Okay.
I want to like.
That's what I sensed.
I mean, it's not like dangerous. It's
Yeah.
like a crazy physical challenge, but.
Cool, man.
But it's like.
Wait, how old are you now?
26.
26?
Yeah. And it's like. But it like all those plans are.
Dude, I wish I was like you when I was 26.
I don't know. It's.
You seem way more aware of yourself.
It's not true.
As I just slammed my body.
Totally fine. I don't know, man. I think it's
You're doing good, man.
I appreciate it. Thank you. It's good to hear.
Yeah. No, really.
I don't believe it most of the time, but yeah.
Well, you're hiding it. No, I was kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think it's like there are certain things I value. Like I'd like to try and figure out certain things, and I found like I just can't figure out those things living in a van.
Yeah.
It just becomes way harder.
Yeah,
to
yeah.
Commit myself to things when I'm constantly just moving around.
That's true. Yeah.
I'm not gonna stop traveling. Just not traveling in this way. You know. I'm gonna keep the van, but it's like a
it's a good van.
different kind of a experience. I think.
I love it.
But
I love watching it.
Yeah, I do too, man. I'm gonna look back on this. Like, wow, that's
I was
crazy.
trying to get my girlfriend into the van life, and
Yeah.
she's like,
Yeah. It's totally worth it. Honestly, it's so awesome. Like, I'm gonna.
I keep sending her like the images from like Instagram and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like the van life,
Yeah.
hashtag van life.
Yeah.
But she's not having it.
It's I don't know. It's pretty surreally amazing. It's
They make it look really good. You know,
there's some
they got their girl in the bikini
there's
in
no
front of the
toilet.
window.
Yeah,
Huh?
yeah. They don't show
Yeah,
the
they don't
toilet.
show their toilet.
yeah. But it's been, I don't know. Once you realize how little you can live with,
Yeah.
the idea and anxieties you have of paying rent diminished greatly. It's like,
That's funny. Yeah, because
yeah,
kind of going through that now with the rent increase, and then
right.
can't find a job here in California, have to move to Texas, looking
Yeah.
for, smaller rent.
Yeah,
That fear of like, oh my God, I'm gonna be homeless. Like,
right. It's not that bad.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
It's like-
So, you know.
yeah, I think Tim Ferriss talked about that a long time ago in one of his podcasts. He was like, maybe it was his friend or something, but he was talking about it like one of his buddies, I guess, like a rich guy,
Yeah.
that spent a couple of nights on the street
Yeah.
just to break that fear that he had of like taking risk with money.
Yeah.
Because he thought he was going to become homeless and live on the street.
Yeah.
So he practiced it.
Right.
Just
Well, and I did. That's what I've been doing for the past 9 months in the van. It's just like I don't give a shit if I'm like I don't care. I just want to like
that's cool.
like once you remove the fear from your life, then
Yeah.
your life gets a lot better. It's like I don't care. Like if I can't pay rent, I'm just gonna live in the van.
Yeah.
I've been doing it for a while, like almost a year. It's like
But what about how do you like the fears that really get you? How do you control them, or do you control them, or you just let them go? Do you work around them? Do you try to talk them down? Those fears.
I think we have different fears. I think like I don't know. I think it's. I think we have different fears, but they all come from the same place, and I think there's like it might have been Nietzsche or Carl Jung or one of the philosophers that said this, where it's like what you want most is where you least want to look.
Oh yeah, the cave you fear to enter holds the secrets. That you want, or
Exactly.
something like that,
Yeah, and it's like those
Yeah.
fears are there for a reason, and like maybe the anxiety of being homeless is not a physical anxiety. It's like you feel like you could definitely do it physically, but maybe the social judgment of being homeless is way worse than the physical
Oh yeah.
physical consequences. It's like maybe there's somebody at work that like would judge you for like you went from making all this money to living in a van by the street. It's like
Yeah.
you
What
know,
an idiot! Why
Yeah.
would he quit his job?
exactly,
And now he's like, yeah.
and it's like maybe that social judgment is a greater fear for you than it always goes back to the confronting of confronting of that stuff. It's like
Yeah.
why is that there in the first place? And it's there.
Yeah.
It's like think about why you think about things.
Yeah.
And just analyze your thoughts, and try to ask yourself questions that you can't, like, that you don't want to ask yourself. It's I believe in ultimate responsibility for somebody's own life. Like, whether you want to believe it or not, I think that all the problems in your life are in your hands to solve. And I think they're actually all your fault, like, no matter what they are, in a certain sense. I mean, in all your fault in a sense where it's like, you could be born addicted to heroin because your parents used heroin. And it's your fault in a sense because at a certain point that's going to become your responsibility.
Yeah, I was about to say, well, it's like if it's something that you have the power to change, and it's up to you to decide what to do with it.
Yeah.
But if it's like a government thing that comes down on you, you have no power, then you can't.
Well,
you can make other decisions to go around it.
Yeah.
But I don't know how to explain it.
Well, I think it's
some things you have power over, some things you don't. The ones you don't, just let them go.
Yeah.
Because you can't control it anyway.
Well, and
so to focus on what you can.
Absolutely, and I think it's always about focusing on what you can.
Yeah.
Fight. It's like it's like be like water. You just try to like a water will fill any container that it's in, and just fit every facet of it. And you just want to like flow through things. And when you're given a problem, you just like fit yourself to the container. And you like not necessarily compromise your values, but like just move past it. Like I think it's a waste of time for people to spend all their time fighting, like thinking about politics. I think it's not that useful, like on either side, because I think that going back to the individual thing, like somebody will like do more good for the world by pursuing the thing they genuinely care about than worrying about some political thing that they have very little control over.
Oh yeah, that burns up a lot of energy, a lot of creativity, actually.
Yeah, and it's like, like fight the battles you can win.
Yeah.
Fight the battles you want to fight. Instead of the ones that are given to you by other people. Yeah. It's like I try to stay out of politics as much as I can because I think it's just
I got really into it for a while.
Yeah,
going on protests and things like that, and it's just after a while I was just not feeling good. Just angry.
Messes up your brain.
Yeah.
Well, and I think you're a collection of you are a product of your own environment. It's like if you're around people that are afraid all the time, you're gonna start facing fear.
Dude, yeah.
Like
seriously,
no matter who you are,
Yeah, if you're in a relationship with somebody who's like extremely negative, that affects everything in their life.
Yeah.
Just especially like I think artists in general are pretty sensitive people.
Yeah.
Like they can kind of like absorb other people's energy in a way.
Yeah.
So like if I'm around somebody who's negative in a certain way, like anxious or just mean-spirited, like it sucks. Like
it messes you up, man.
Yeah. So it sounds bad, but I was like, you pick and choose the people you want close to you. So it's,
yeah. Well, again, it's like, going back to the values thing, you can only care about like 100 people. You can't surround yourself with. Again, going back to why I don't want to live in a van anymore, because I'm surrounding myself with thousands of people all the time. I've met hundreds and hundreds of people, but it's like I found that I just don't care anymore. I just like there's too many people to pay attention to. Like, I don't want to. I want my world to be smaller. And like I think somebody's own like their life consists of thousands and thousands of small decisions. It's like your success as a YouTuber depends on like, do you get up at 6 a.m. or do you get up at noon and eat Oreos for breakfast? It's like maybe you eating Oreos for breakfast and getting up at 1 p.m. makes you less likely to make YouTube videos, which in turn makes you less likely to be able to pay rent, which makes you more anxious about your life, so you lash out more or something.
Yeah.
It's like a domino effect, and it starts with that like thing that might not seem that significant, or it's like getting up later actually does affect your future.
Yeah.
And it's like seeing your decisions as meaningful towards the future that you want to have, you know, and you know, the people that you're around definitely affect those decisions. Right? If you're around people that are wanting to be better and, you know, make their lives better, you're gonna want to do that.
You want somebody around you that wants, like, is really happy for you when something good happens. Yeah. And also somebody who will not, like, if you come with a problem, they're not like, it's, you know, it's not your fault, it's their fault, blah blah blah, but somebody will, like, actually tell you the truth. Like,
absolutely.
And it's kind of hard to find, like, somebody who is genuinely happy for you is really kind of rare.
Well, and you also want to be genuinely happy for other people too. Yeah. And it's like, so, like, I think everyone is both people at certain points in their lives, you know.
Different people too.
Yeah.
For some reason, we act a little different depending on the person.
Well, and I think it's the human brain is complicated. It's very complicated. Yeah. I'm gonna see how long we've been recording for. We've been going for an hour and 33 minutes.
Oh, nice.
I can feel my brain kind of turn it off a little bit.
Oh, okay. You want to wrap it up?
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
How should people follow you?
People
should totally buy Bradwynn's course.
Yeah, buy my courses.
Yeah. Brad's a really good artist. Seriously.
I got the portrait anatomy course up on Gumroad. Finally, you can go to the YouTube channel Bradwynn Jones, or you can just type in Wake and Draw on YouTube. It'll pop up everything, and just follow the links to Gumroad and whatnot.
Cool.
I'm on Proco.com.
Sick.
I got to get back on that actually.
Now
now that I'm done with the course, so
yeah. Nice.
Yeah,
sick.
That's it.
Cool.
Good to see you guys.
Yeah. And if you want, go to his school. Go to his in-person school.
Yeah. It's coming out soon.
Oh, nice. Cool.
It's gonna be in a tent.
Yeah.
It's gonna be in a tent in Austin. It's on the side of the road on 6th Avenue.
In the middle of the street.
It's a two-man tent right now.
Yeah. You're gonna slowly increase the size of the tent. Yeah. Cool. Okay. Well, thanks, man.
All right. Good to see you, man.
Cool. Sweet.